Just kidding. Welcome back to Melanin Madam. So let me roll out the red carpet tonight for not only you, but also for our guest. And I say our because I told you guys, I invite you into my home. Subscribers are like family. My family is like family. And at the beginning, let's just be clear. That's who's watching, your family. So thank them for the support. That would be me thanking you for your support. So tonight we have an amazing duo. I'm super excited to have them on. And our show tonight is about marriage again, but it is actually going to be a couple this evening. And so we get to hear a little bit about what marriage is like from them. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat. Share this video while it is live. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will bring them in now. So hello there. So tonight we have Stacey and we have Trina. So I am going to allow them to introduce themselves. I kind of hate it when somebody introduces me and they say my name because you usually start with your name. But go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell how long you've been married.
You guys, you started.
I'm Trina. Trina Hare. We've been married for almost 10 years. So this year we celebrated our 9th year. We've been together for 15 years. We have 3 children. We met very new generation in a new generation way. And we have 3 children, and we have gone through this journey of growing and getting to know each other through, the many years that we've been together, and it's been a good journey.
I love it. I love it. So Kamar, that's Stacey. I call him Kamar. Always have since junior high. Would you like to say something for your intro as well?
So me and Trina, she did a introduction. We've been married for 9 years, and we met about 15 years ago. And my name is Stacey. I didn't formally introduce myself. My name is Stacey here. So we met about 15 years ago, and during the MySpace era, and
Oh, shut up!
that's
That's
how
what
we
she
met.
said. Okay.
Yeah. So no lie, I was ashamed about meeting someone on MySpace, on social media period, during that time. And I didn't like for it to be known that we met at, on social media. And then I was like, all right, so if we ever tell anybody, I want to be like, we met on MySpace. You know what I'm saying?
That's when meeting on the internet wasn't
Not
Yeah, it
cool.
wasn't.
normal.
It wasn't cool. So I was like, all right, this is line. We met at a gas station.
Tell everybody that.
And I pumped your gas. But no, that's but now we own it, and it's just part of the growth, as a person and as a couple. We own it. We love that we met where we started on MySpace, and we've grown. It's been a journey, and like I think everybody, when they think about marriage, they think about you know they see pictures and they think happy and they think everything's going great, but we've been here. We've been here, and that's what life is about in a marriage, So, and we've grown and we've got to know each other, and we're in a really good place. So,
I
and
love it.
yeah.
So speaking of pictures, I do have some pictures. So let me tell you guys. I like that you mentioned social media number one because it's so big now. But funny story, I met my husband online. Y'all, while I can't remember meeting him online, I can't remember. When we got together, I had to confess to him, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where we met. I don't remember. I remember our first date, all of those things. I don't remember anything before that. And that sounds crazy, but I know it was the internet. I believe him because I was too busy to do anything else. And like you said, that's back when it wasn't cool and people would be like, how did you meet?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. And see, I got to tell the truth because I didn't.
Yeah.
But I think that it's a good thing now. We'll get a little bit into that. And then the second thing is, I want you guys to know how I saw your marriage or how I see your marriage. So the way that I see your marriage is because I know all the boys. Um, you hear about this new girl is around, you know, they taking my friend, hear that. But not in a bad way, never in a bad way, just, oh, it's somebody, he's serious, serious. And I'm like, what's her name? So then I heard more about you before I actually got to meet you. And then as time went on and we got a little bit older, I actually got into Facebook. And so what your journey looks like to me is that you guys got married. You saw the growth in Stacey. I can't talk to you for that part only because I don't know you like that from back then. But I saw the growth in Stacey in the pulling away from the going out and the hanging out to the I want to be a husband. I saw the husband in him right away. And so, respectfully, everybody was excited about it and we were in support of. So, that's what I saw. And then I saw it progress into Stacey being, wow, I'm a dad. And it's like, okay. Then you saw, you know, the downward part. And what I mean by the downward part is when you got sick. That's when I tuned into you a little bit more. And I more so paid attention because I just really tripped out. The picture that took me away was you were in the bed working in the hospital bed. You guys had to go in for a procedure. And Stacey was right there and he took a picture of you while you were working in the hospital bed. And that picture meant everything to me as a friend, just as another person, because it was, wow, like number one, this girl is still working. And then number two, he's right there with her. And that's not a picture, that's real life. So you can see some real life in those pictures. And then I saw you guys going through it and him humbly coming to social media, sometimes saying, I didn't want to say anything because this is hard, but, and then, baby, let me tell you, we saw y'all standing in front of an unbuilt house. And I said, won't he do it? And then we saw y'all going on vacation. And then we saw the upper part. So I just want to tell you that what I saw from the outside looking in is what theirs to look like. And I think that it was beautiful. And I commend you both. And keep sharing online. Keep sharing because we need to see more of it. Then I have a surprise for you. I do. So hold on one second. So y'all, this girl done built a business. I'm telling you, it's like the dream. To me, that's what the dream looks like. It looks like reality. And what it before I get into my questions, what your picture looks like to me, it looks like when you put two and four together, God will answer your prayers. And it means he who findeth the wife. And it means she who submits to her husband. You can't tell me that it didn't happen because those things are happening. You guys have done some dynamic things. So when you think about the season you just come out of and where you are today, what's the one word, just one word that you would think of? Your mic is not on. Cut your mic on. Uh-oh, I think they froze. They did. They froze. Okay, you guys, in true fashion, we give our guests a little bit of time because we need to make sure that they can get back in. Okay? Okay, so give it just a minute. I'll be able to see on my other phone when they get back in. So, in the meantime, let me tell you, marriage is a real roller coaster, right? And there's some problems, some issues, some things that can occur, but when you are together working on those things that occur, it just makes the relationship that much better. Here we go.
Okay.
Hi.
Sorry about that. I
That's
don't know what
okay.
the
That's
connection.
okay. Okay, so did you hear my question before you guys got disconnected? No?
No,
Okay.
we didn't hear it.
Okay, that's okay. So my question was, when you think about the season that you just came out of, leading up into now, what's the one word that you would think of off the top of your head as it relates to marriage?
I would say endurance. I think of strength, like it takes a lot of strength to get through, like, we say our vows and everything, and we always expect to stay together and for things to not go way left. But when it actually happens is when the vows are truly tested. And so I think that this was one of the times where it was like, you say in sickness and in health, and you say it so lightly when it's that time when you're healthy, but when you're actually not, that's when the true, when you really feel those vows where you're like, wow, it is in sickness and in health.
I would, me personally, I would say team. No, I mean, because that's what makes us balanced. Because she's a Virgo.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but anyways, we're gonna go to a whole different subject when it comes up. But as far as I would say team, because really when you get married, that's what you rely on. Y'all, it's a team. If your partner trips, you have you're supposed to bring them up. You're supposed to uplift them so they get stronger. You're a crutch to that person, and that's what you have to look at yourself as, and we experienced that. I mean, we went through when, like you said, when you got sick. I mean, you have to be there and you have to show that no matter what, you're gonna go by their vows, and you got to realize you're gonna go through some things, and that's just part of life. And everybody just kind of give up. I think a lot of people give up early when they. I'm not saying. I mean, we're gonna go to a whole different subject when it comes to this. I'm not saying as far as um, just being together. There's certain things you have to know when to give up on, but there's certain things where I feel like people give up a little bit too earlier than what they should go through. We all make mistakes. We all have our things that we make, but 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 I think that you should always, at least, I always said this: we all gonna go through one big thing, one big drama as far as a relationship, but how it depends on how you handle that. There's gonna be one big test that we all gonna go through, but it all depends on how you handle that. And it depends. It's almost like a chess move, how you move during that situation. A lot of people erupt. A lot of people do different things, but I think as far as you stay level-minded and stay true, then you can, as far as a couple, then you overcome certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be able to take certain things. Certain things you can't allow in a relationship, And
the foundation has to be strong.
The foundation definitely has to be strong.
Because then, if your foundation is strong, then everything that happens, you base it off what it's built on.
It's
And I
groundwork.
think that we went through our struggles before we got married. So I think we came into this like, all right, well, we starting fresh and this is what it is. And whatever comes our way is what we gonna have to get through.
Yep.
So
But we knew just through those struggles that this is what it is. This is what she doesn't like. This is what I don't like. And then we have to work on that. It takes togetherness to do that. And it takes a strong mindset to get through that, But I'm a firm believer you can't put up with no BS, like no matter as far as a couple or anything. And I can see why certain people get divorced and certain, saying things like that, but we've never had to endure that, thank God we never had to go through that. We've had our ups and downs, but we never had to endure that. And we've always been tested, but even with when it comes to business, when it comes to just Trina having to go into a hospital, we all been tested, but it's just about togetherness, and that's why I say team. I always put as far as everything comes, because it becomes when you first meet somebody, it becomes a physical thing, right? So that's why I think people don't realize after you become a part of that, bypass that physical part, then where does it go? Where does it go from there?
Right.
But
I like that you guys said. I like that you guys said you went through things before, so you learn from those things what you don't like. One of the things that I think that in my marriage, I didn't struggle with this, but I think that my husband did a little bit. You lay out all of these things that you like and these things that you don't like, and you have this great relationship as a couple, as a girlfriend and boyfriend, never fought, no disagreements, no nothing. Ironic, but we didn't in any of the years. But that's your boyfriend and that's your girlfriend. Once you become married, that's a different space that you enter. And I can tell you all day long, oh, I don't like snakes. I don't like this. I don't like that. But it's those little things that are big things to a person that you don't think about until it happens, because they're not that common. And to your point, until you go through something, you don't know. No. We'd never been in an argument. And once we got married, oh yeah, it was one. And I don't like to be yelled at. And he wasn't yelling at me, but ironically, I was yelling at the top of my lungs. And I had to stop myself like, fool, you don't even like yelling. Like, what are you doing? But again, those things come out in love and when you're in a marriage and you learn them and you check yourself. It's not to hold on to it and be like, oh, I can't believe he yelled at me. I got to leave because I said I never wanted nobody to yell at me. We're human. Like, things are going to happen. And it's going to take a couple times too. You don't get to say it just once and then it's a done deal. That's not even life. That's not the way that it works for anything.
Well,
right.
I can.
Why do you think we're so hard on each other with marriage?
As far as like learning about each other, we could live to be a million years old. I'm never gonna learn every detail about my wife.
Right.
It's just that's just certain things that we're gonna do. We all, even if we live that long, I'm still gonna make mistakes, and she's gonna make mistakes, and we're gonna have some disagreements. But that's just part of the things. This is part of the whole relationship thing, and I think when you realize that, then you become more grounded as far as your relationship. I mean,
and more humble.
And more humble, yeah, and that's true. I mean, it's really when you get married, it's this. You say this is it. You gotta look at it like this is it. This is it. No matter what, we have to fight through whatever we go through, and we have to stick by each other whatever we go through, and if you realize that and you take really good vows to that, then your marriage will be a lot better, as far as just couples in general, as far as their marriage. So I mean, as far as us, I mean, it's not perfect, and we still work on a few things, but at the same time, we know that, and every year, as we grow, it becomes stronger and stronger, and it's a certain connection that you gotta have.
And I also think like the hard times is what makes you like stronger. Like it makes
you fall in love more.
Yeah, it like I honestly feel like me going through everything and him being there and not treating me any different, and you know I was physically changing, everything physically changed, and so to still feel the same, from the person that you married, I think that stuff is the stuff that actually makes you feel like you made the right choice. Like, I mean,
and they become real sexy when they act like that. I'm looking like, you are so handsome.
It's like, I mean, anybody can, you can want to be with Kim Kardashian and she fine, and but what happens when she loses all her hair and she has a problem or some sickness? And it's like, those are the things that actually make you see the reality of the situation. Like, you still love me even when I am at my worst, so I think those things are huge, and I think that's what made us closer too, is like just going through things, like, and which is why I feel like any relationship will make you stronger when you have things to go through,
So my wife got sick, and I told her, I told her after she got sick and she got better, and I said, "You're gonna live longer than me. You're gonna live a lot longer than me." And she said, "You know what she said? I think so too." I was like, "Dang."
Because we stress y'all out. That's why women live longer than men.
But she's such a strong woman that I really firmly believe that, despite what, the obstacles that she go through, and no husband want to see, their wife having to go through that, and we gonna be by the side, and a true husband will always be by the side, no matter what their wife go through, so, I mean, it is what it is, and we here today, and I appreciate the gains that we've had off of. I mean, gains, blessings, same thing.
Yes.
And we've had
very
blessed as far as what's come across during that period, because it was a whole time where the pandemic was going on, and my wife got sick, and you have kids at the house, they're not going to school, and it was just, it was a lot going on at one time.
I think the pandemic was like a test for everybody.
It seemed like so many things happened back to back when the pandemic.
And it just was that whole between 2020 to 2021.
Yeah.
Then 2029.
Recuperating now.
Yeah. But... So I mean, we do, and we do enjoy the blessings that we had, that we came out of it, but we also are very humble as far as what we had to go through in order to get
it was literally our best and worst year, like at the same time, which is crazy. But when people ask me how was the pandemic for you, I'm like, it was actually my best and worst year at the same time, which it's hard to explain that, but it's crazy because God was like, you going through this, but I'm about to like seriously bless y'all at the same time. So it's definitely a humbling blessing experience.
People, the pandemic time, for those of us that know, we all have the same story. It was the time that, because he said he was never going to destroy the earth again, but he didn't say he wasn't going to do everything he just did, because I don't think that's the closest to it we're going to get. The world has literally never been shut down before. But during that time, I think that you could see a shift in people, and you can see which people are the ones that, this is my perspective, that try their best to do the right thing. Because even though they went through things like everybody else, or one big thing happened, it was much bigger because of COVID. At the same time, there were people getting amazing jobs, buying homes, having a baby that couldn't for a long time, proposing. An illness was recovered. Like, big things happened during that time as well. That it was like, wow, that was
You know how Donald Trump was talking
Yeah.
about, I'm about to come in and clean out the swamp, and that's why I look at as far as the pandemic too. It was like, all right, we about to push a reset button on everything
yeah,
that's going on here, and start over again, and see what, because there was just a lot going on in the world. So that's how I look at the pandemic.
too.
Yeah. So
Me too.
Yeah, it was almost like okay, I'm gonna have everybody sit down and and like stop moving. Like, I think we all had our own plans. We think, oh, 2020, you went in like it's about to be this, it's about to be that, and it's like God was like, hold on and sit down for a minute,
Real quick.
I
And I don't
mean,
care how much money you have or what you think you are. I mean, everybody. It's like,
yeah,
okay, Dad.
yeah,
But again, out of that, I strongly, that when I talk to people about it and we all have that same perspective, it just leads me to believe that we're all on the right path, because we connected back to God, and all of us feel like He said, reset. You do what you want to do with it, though. And I'm not saying reset is a clean slate is going to go well. I'm saying reset, go take what you want. But if you have to do it. But I'm leaving it there because everybody's on level playing field right now. Those of you that see somebody struggling, you're supposed to help. We were tested with different things for our beliefs as well, and how we helped other people, and how we just came together, because everybody didn't have somebody to help them either. And I think that just really tested that particular time. For your marriage, Trina, I have a question for you, because at the beginning of my marriage, I had to have a back surgery right before, and then right after, I had to have a second one. And I know what my experience was like you said, with your body changing. How did you communicate with Kamar when you started to not feel so great? And did it impact your marriage?
I think it was. I think it was actually after my very first treatment. I think that's when, because my body was in shock. So I think I didn't even have to communicate it. I think he knew, and I think he was like, I think he went into like, because I'm a person that has very high anxiety. I think he went into calm mode, and I think that balance kind of helped me get through the really bad chemo moments. And I just remember in November, I had 2 sessions left. And I was like, I don't know if my body can handle it. Like, I think if I do it again, like my body is just, and he was like, you have to finish, just finish. Like, you got this, you know what I mean? And I think there was no pressure in still being this wife that, has everything together and can get the kids and has all this strength. And there was no pressure there. So I think it started from jump. Like, first chemo session was like, all right, this is a new chapter, and he calmed me down as far as how much, because I'm very active, and I'm very, like, I work a lot, and I can't help myself. So I think I think that he was that balance of saying, like, sit down, rest, and then we'll take it from here. We'll take another. We'll do it day to day. So I think I needed that.
I was strong on day to day, because
Okay.
I mean, really, it's almost like when you get deep in chemo, like she was doing, it's almost to the point. It takes so much on the body that even when you get down to your last chemo, you like, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, you've come this far. You got this. You can do it. And that's what I'm saying. I love my mom to death. But I always say this. I always tell them, Trina, she's the strongest woman I know, just because she had to endure that. I had seen my mom endure that. My mom endured things that were stronger in other ways. But as far as physical strength, I always tell her that. I was like, you are very strong. And that's why to this day, I always say, you're going to live longer than me just because I'm strength. And I really feel that. I really feel that way. That's the truth. Truth of that. When it comes to her diet, the way she eats, the way she takes care of herself, and it's very disciplined among that. So
she even turned that into something positive. Like when she found out what she had, I think I was talking to Roshonda. I can't remember who it was, but it was the post about the condition, and then right after it was, oh, I bought this book so I could eat like this and eat like that. And I was like, I'm in awe of this girl. I'm in awe of her. And I think it was Ro, because we was talking about eyebrows. But I was just in so much awe. Like, for some people, it's very easy to lay down and not move. But for those of us that are go-getters, it's the opposite. We can't. That would feel like death. We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
My wife, she doesn't have a turn off switch. I tell her all the time, she don't have a turn off switch, and I'm like, reset. Like I'm like, turn like 7 o'clock, turn it off. Like she's always, whether it's something, she's always like, it doesn't stop. So that's the balance.
I think that keeps you going, especially when you're going through something, as long as it's healthy. And I'm sure, when it got to that point, if he needed to sit you down, I'm pretty sure you sat down. But it's just easier to focus.
And like you said, when you have like that go-getter mentality, it is opposite. And that's how you cope. That's why I didn't even say anything until I was almost at my last treatment, because I knew my clients would be like, why are you working? Like, why are you? And I only had to say something because I started to physically looked like I was going through something. So I told myself, like, I know they're going to try to make me not do something. And at my
appointment, remember we was talking about eyebrows, and I saw that post. I was like, Trina, are you serious? Like, I can't be asking about you let me talk about my eyebrows while you was going through this.
When are we doing it? Because at the end of the day, that's what made time go by. That's what made the treatments go by faster. Like, I think that everybody copes differently, and I think mine was me working was the best way I could. Went through it.
I can honestly say, for my personal opinion, as far as her coping with it was, just working and trying to create something that, because her mind, just to take her mind off of what was going on every day. Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at it, chemo, it's supposed to kind of wear you down, make you more tired, which it did.
I'm about to say, which it did.
It did.
I was gonna say, it didn't make you tired, girl. You dynamic.
I'm going when it came, and that's why I know it.
Oh no, I can't hear you guys. Can you hear me? I think they froze. We're going to give them time to come back in. Let me make sure. You guys, so I know that for some of you that, oh my goodness, my back is killing me. For some of you that have heard any of my shows on Queen TT, or just looked up anything about me, as far as the businesses. Oh, you guys are back. Perfect. Go ahead. I'll just fill in and wait for the person to come back. But yes, so you were creating during that time. It kept you going. And I switched over to reminding them that I started Divine Purpose when I had my second back surgery. Because like you said, it kept me looking forward to something positive. In my mind, it kept me having control because I had these dreams, these things I wanted to do. And my body, it wasn't an option. Being at work wasn't an option. So no promotion, but starting my own business, getting another degree, those things were possible. So I just shifted so that I could still feel like myself. That really mattered to me. And I think that's what you were saying as well.
Yeah.
How's your back 100%.
Now?
It's killing me, like literally right now. That's why I'm leaning to the side. I need a third back surgery. I'm too young. Yeah. But that's why I say maybe that's why I was drawn to you and I could really relate. Your situation, my situation, nothing like your situation. I'm not any disrespect at all. I just mean when you're married and you live, it's just really different when you live a very busy life and you're very into your career or education, whatever it is. If you have something and you're not a stagnant person, and it's nothing wrong with being stagnant, anything that comes in as a block, it just hits you different. It feels like it knocks the air out of you and you have to figure out how to be.
Yeah. It's like you adjust to being this new person.
Right.
Like, because if I was 100%, I would probably be a lot further than I am. But I feel like, the reality of the situation is you have to deal with the person that you are now. And I think that's where we relate is physically, we may not be able to do everything we want, but we still have it here. And that's where stuff still keeps happening because we still have it mentally. And as long as we have that, the sky is the limit. So
it is. In therapy is where I learned, I kept saying, it's been a very rough, probably 7 years, but I've been trying to, what I called recover. So from the different deaths, from my back surgery, from just a couple of things, those are all life-changing things. And they all happen so back to back and a lot. I kept telling my therapist, I just want to be myself again. I want to be my old me. I miss Asia. And after about a year, I guess she thought I was going to pull out of it. I'm an Aquarius. No, I meant what I said. I'm trying to get back. Where is she? Where is that girl? And she said, Asia, she's not coming back. And I was like, not coming back. And she said, no, you have to be the new person. And I was like, how do you just be a new person? And she was like, because all of the things that your brain is telling you, I would even like try to get up fast at one point. I couldn't, but my brain I was that locked into, if I'm good, if I'm diligent, if I'm this, it will happen. And it doesn't. You do need to build the new you, which also translates into marriage. The you were before you got married is not the you're going to be after it, only because you're becoming one. It's not a bad thing, but I've seen so many people, I'm not changing for that person, or family saying, oh, you're changing for him. Oh, you're changing for her.
We grew apart. That's a big one you hear. We grew apart. And it's like, you grow. Everybody grows. Like, we grow every day. And it's like, you have to adjust to some people don't like it, but you have to adjust to that new person that you married, and he has to adjust to you. If you're truly committed, you adjust to it. You know what I mean?
Right. How else? I wonder what was your vision of marriage before you got married? So what did you think it was going to be like?
I think he may have a different for me, I have been divorced before. So when I married Stacey, I went into it thinking in a very adult way, in a very non-fairy tale way. I knew what I was getting into the second time. So I think when I was younger and I got married, it was a fairy tale. But I think when I married Stacey, I knew everything that was coming, and I looked at it in a very mature way, and that's why it worked this time. So I think I went into it not thinking about, oh, everything's gonna be so, we're gonna
hold hands every day. We're gonna have sex every night. I'm gonna make dinner. He's gonna wake you in the morning.
Dress and everything being, everybody thinks about the wedding, and I didn't think about all that stuff the second time. I thought about the reality, and that's what actually made it work, because I knew the expectations. I knew what I was getting into this time around. So that's how I went in. So for me, it was real. Like, it was like, I'm really doing this.
I really love him. So I'm going into it with a real brain. I love him, and I think he spits magic. However, I know that he also spits things to get on my nerves, and I'm okay with that. I love him.
This is, as far as guys, this is my advice as far as guys going to marriage.
Okay.
It's not about where you live with this person. It's whether you can live without this person. That's what it comes down to. If you can vision we can all vision ourselves living with somebody, but the thing is, can you live without that person?
Can you live without me?
And like I was saying,
crazy. He wouldn't even let you go to the hospital by yourself. He stuck to you like glue, which I haven't figured out yet, because you look like Houdini. How was you with the kids over here and they look all happy? I love y'all kids. They are all got different personalities. Oh my God. Going through y'all stuff just made me. I always go through somebody's profile again before we meet so that I could refresh myself on why I love them. But I would see him doing all of that, and then I would see him with you, and I'm like, I ain't mad. But let me tell you what I didn't see. So I have a question about it. I didn't see other people intervening. And what I mean by intervening is that certain things you go through in marriage is tough for your family because they love you too, and they want to be there 24/7 too. But when you get married, that's how we build our marriage and become one. Is I need to look out and only feel like I have my husband, and vice versa, so we can build on that. How was that with sharing her or sharing that protectiveness with others to take care of her and things?
Well, that's probably, I think, as far as that goes, it's a strong family support system. Between both of our families, we have a very strong family support system, and that, that's the groundwork when it comes to stuff like this. Because if really a lot of, as far as broken homes, come down to father not being in the home, father, just divorce and separation, and a lot of people have kids have grown up because, or I would say, especially when it's down to young boys, there hasn't been no father support system in there, and when it comes to togetherness, that's one thing that I've always been big on when it comes to, train my boys up, having my mom there for them, having, me there to teach them as far as my part. And, I think it's engrounded in them, and they become, it's almost like a seed that blossoms. So, that comes
everybody
up.
has a part. Know your role.
Yeah. And that's been, as far, especially our era, that's been taken away from us, from drugs to the crack epidemic, gangs, all the stuff that was going on, and it took away from us, So I think, as far as seeing stuff like that, is we trying to support that family grounds, because she has her family who's very supportive, and then we have my family that's very supportive, and a lot of people don't have that.
We're blessed to have.
You guys are blessed. I love it.
Like, honestly, Yeah, anybody who cares about you is going to tell you, oh, I really, I think both of our sides never said like blatantly, like, you should do this,
Okay.
or I
This
think
is
you
so
guys
different.
should, right. It was more so like they trusted our decisions that we made. And so the intervening didn't need to happen. It was more so like, they'll have their points. Yeah, like and we'll discuss it, but it was never, they always left it up to us when it came to decisions on hard things.
The support system,
support all the time.
The support system was there.
Yeah.
And that's what yes, both sides. And that's what a family should have. That's the way a family should be. They should have a support system. If somebody falls, if something goes wrong, then we know I can call my big bro. I can call my sis. I can call my mom, you know what I'm saying? Whoever.
Yeah.
And
on either side.
Either side.
Yeah.
Either side.
You can pick up the phone and call her mom.
Her mom, her dad, her sister, her brother, and we built that strong relationship, and that's what makes that foundation stronger. It becomes even bigger when you do stuff like that, and
I think that's like, as far as like marriages, and I know there's people who don't get along with their mother-in-laws or their sister-in-laws or whatever the case, and like I said, I've come from a different background of marriage, and I've been in those situations. So I think that is so important to have family and to really get along. Like, people think that, oh, well, I'm married to him, I'm not married to, and it's like, right, exactly, because when it comes yeah, at the end of the day, family that's what you need.
You do. Like, you do need them. However, I don't have I have a strong relationship with some, but not all. And it's not anything to do with my part. I have extended myself and done the things that I need to do. However, at a certain point, you do say, I've left it on the table. Let's just say that. I don't feel like, even if things get rock bottom with the other person's family, as long as it's not, they empty my bank account, touched my kid inappropriate, if it's not something that you wouldn't stop talking to your family for forever, don't stop talking to that other person. Because I've also made it very clear with my husband, okay, I've tried with this person and this person. I keep trying for you. But I need a break. But just to be clear, if you ever said, I want you to try again right now, because I'm your wife, I'm going to try again right now, just because you want me to, wholeheartedly. But I think that that's an important part that I want to say, because I hate that people think, oh, I'm never going to talk to my mother-in-law. I'm never going to talk to my brother-in-law. How could you say never, but you would never say that to your mom or your brother? That's just not the way it works. It's supposed to be everybody coming together. That's why I have a big family, because even people that have gotten divorced, child, they done stayed. We done took the new kids in. They don't even know that they not blood related. We tell them later. That's just how it's supposed to be, because you want that unit to be there. Family is everything to me. It makes your life so much better. And not the financial part, the love part, the showing up part, the hug part. It's not, you can't replace that. I'm really happy to hear that you guys did not have a concern with that. And I saw that. And I initially was going to, I love Stacey's mom. She is so sweet. I don't even think I've ever heard her raise her voice. And I was like, it's impossible that her and Trina could have it. But then I thought, girl, don't do that, because, because that's another thing. Stop telling people that. Don't be sitting here telling Stacey, like, I can't tell Stacey, you're an amazing husband to Trina. That's for Trina to say. I mean, I could say I see you guys as an amazing married couple, but stop stepping on people's toes, because what it does in a marriage, that person's head gets so big because everybody else think I'm amazing. Because you're not their husband or you're not their wife. That's a different relationship. We do different living with.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
Oh my
You know,
goodness.
and you know what?
that's
And
real.
you can't believe everything you see on social media. You know,
Mhm.
just because you see a great marriage in social media doesn't mean that
That
that's
is
what's really
great.
going on. They perpetrating. They trying to make
Or it was
something up.
good at that moment when the picture. I would
There's
hope at least it was good when the
there's
picture was taken,
it's
because I
such
ain't getting
thing
no
Right.
as
picture talking to
social
me.
media couples. They
Right.
Oh yeah.
if you cut off social media from them, then they would break up. They will break up.
Most of
I
them are not
guarantee you.
together. Have you
Yeah,
seen that? They did a series on it, like YouTube couples that are really not together. They're just
hey,
together because their
it's
channel was
real.
still popping.
It's
Dang.
real.
And that's the
Who
thing is
lives like that?
we don't really. I mean, I think both of us rarely post. I think I post more on my business page than anything, but I think I honestly feel like when you're continuously trying to prove something, then something's up. I mean, there now, not to say that some
Don't
people who
always.
post a lot aren't happy. There's some who are happy and they just post a lot. They like social media. But I think me and him are very like, we have nothing to prove.
It's
So
genuine.
it's totally
Right.
genuine.
It's
If we want to
genuine.
post something, we'll
Like
post it. If we don't,
yeah.
in 4 months, we
'Cause-
don't. You know,
'cause,
like we don't have anything to prove.
yeah.
So
I have so much
Mhm.
old stuff, like
yeah.
because
Yeah.
you take the picture because you want to capture the moment, but I captured it for me. I want to have some stuff just
Right.
for us.
Yeah.
I don't want everything to be out there. And when we go to dinner or something like that, I don't want my camera in my damn hand. I want to just put that away and actually enjoy my time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're married. We're going to be married forever. I don't need to do this. I mean, if it was my job, I would, but
For me and
Right.
for me when I post about our marriage, maybe put a story or something on
yeah.
there, is more so to for me to recognize where we've come from. You know, we've come from to the point where we um, had a eviction notice on our door to
Life is.
just different scenarios and like, I could look back and be like, dang,
We come so
like
far.
y'all don't even know the story. I didn't,
Testimony. I love it.
to the point we had a eviction notice on the door to a year later we buying a house. So
Won't he do it?
it's, that's what I'm saying. So it's just show for us to we
Why
are
do we have to justify when we give our
at the
testimony?
same time we love
Right.
it.
Yeah.
I don't think,
I think
we have so much that realistically, I would love to post all of the amazing things, and I would love to post the things that aren't so amazing so that it could help somebody as well. But the reality is, life doesn't let you life. That's just the
yeah.
reality. So those things that you're comfortable with and almost prepared, some things you post and you wake up the next morning and look at your phone like, ooh, okay, nobody said nothing stupid. Because it's just that bad. It just is. And somebody thinking that you're bragging because you're posting your house. But anybody with common sense will look at everything that y'all just went through and be like, oh my God, that is amazing. Not that you're bragging, because nothing came across in that manner, but we can't control the way other people turn
Right.
things around,
Stuff.
and you can't let that impact your marriage either.
Mm-hmm.
I know some couples where one really likes to post and the other one doesn't, but you have to meet in the middle, because the other one is like, well, a lot of my family live out of state. It gives me an opportunity to stay connected with people. It's all in one. And that's what it's technically supposed to be used for. And the person doesn't have thousands of friends. They have
Right.
less than 1,000. It's
Right.
probably family, coworkers, and whatnot. But the other person, I don't want people in my business.
Right.
Mm,
And you're right. You are absolutely right about that as far as family. And, we got different family that, that want to see how we're doing and what's going on with us. So I post a lot of stuff, especially when it comes to the kids.
Yeah.
Yes, that's big.
I always post with the kids and, just to see that we all okay. We doing just fine. And I like to see other people that's doing just fine too. I like positive posts, but my whole thing with the posting was as far as marriages, because people, they paint a picture off of social media and how a marriage is supposed to be, and it's not like that. social media, and that's why a lot of marriages don't go further because of the picture painting that's going on in the social media.
Yeah, it's dreamland.
It's dreamland.
We think marriage is like this fairy tale, and it's just really not. Like at the end of the day, it ain't. And it's like for me, I remember when we agreed to with social media, we were like, we never want to take our problems on social media ever. Like, and I think that that's helped us. Like, we used to. That's what I'm saying. Before we got
tell me about that. What happened?
Before we got married, it used to be the subliminals.
Subliminal messages. We did that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been through our business.
When we was mad, we would do subliminals. But I think when we got married, we were like, that ends. Like,
I don't belong in marriage, right?
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool on that.
we had.
Don't see that meme that applies. You'd be like, "Yep, I'm sharing that."
Yep. Hey.
Yeah.
So I mean,
we are not perfect at all.
No.
Like I think what made our marriage easy, because it is easy to me. I think was what we went through before we got married. I think we handled all of that before we got married.
Yeah, and it was like, all right.
We were together 5 years before we got married.
Right.
So
how did you guys get to know these things before marriage? Did you live together?
Yeah, because we had Casey 2 years in. So we had our first son 2 years in.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought he was after. That's right. I'm like, how the hell y'all go through so much before? Like, what was y'all doing?
That was the trial error. That was a trial error.
Okay.
It was a point where she had a dog and we had and the dog, she ended up leaving. The dog was living with me and the dog didn't like me, and so it's turned the whole place because he didn't like me. It was great.
We had a lot going on.
So I mean, but that's what I was saying.
But that's what makes it easy now. Is like, I think when you really get to know somebody and you go through those things, like, I really feel like the hardest part is getting to know them, and then once you marry them, you should already go in knowing them, like.
Right.
I mean, not to say that quick marriages can't happen, but I think because you can grow together for sure. But I think that like all of our hard stuff like was knocked out. So I think when we got married, we were like, all right, we good. Yeah. So like we haven't
married.
Yep. Yeah. We took each other for every imperfection. For every
just to survive what we've been through when we was going through it. We was like, all right, so this is what's gonna be. We've been married. We've been through this. We got this is it, and that's what we went for.
Nobody else.
Nope. Yeah. And that's part of the vows. I mean, marriage is not a joke. It's something that you have to take serious, and in order, especially when he's talking about having kids and stuff like that, you got to take them a little bit more serious. So that's what we did. We took a little bit more serious. We trained our kids. We trained our kids. Right. No, but we raised our kids. So, hey, but no, it is training. But I mean, we raised our kids where they gonna evolve from this as well. Be looking to. This is why a marriage is supposed to happen, because we gonna break. We out here breaking cycles. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what it is.
Cycles day to day.
So we want to be part of that. To break cycles.
Do you guys talk to the kids about marriage?
No, but we set examples. Examples.
Yeah, we just live. You know what I mean? They watch. I mean, just like how I grew up, I watched my parents. They never talked to me about marriage. They just. I've probably seen one fight, from my parents. I'm sure they had many fights, but I think that they displayed like a really true, and that's why I always grew up like, I want to be married. Because that's what they showed, me when I was growing up. So I think we do that now. And I think our kids get they have, our kids are really blessed. They have their grandparents, you know, both sides who are still married, you know what I mean? And then us. So I think they have a good example of what marriage is, you know. So
They do, but they do, and my question is to eliminate that fairy tale belief, especially with baby girl. How are you going to address that if you guys don't specifically communicate with them about marriage? Or do you intend to later?
I I honestly think I will. You know, we will talk to them about marriage. I think because they're so young, we just letting them enjoy being kids. But I do think at a point there will be that conversation, you know, like especially I mean,
with
I'm
both
sure
of you. So you teaching, telling the boys how to treat, and then vice versa. Yeah.
And he the way he is with her is how she's gonna expect to be treated. So I think at the end of the day, when they get older and we have that conversation, they're gonna already know, like, this is how I should be treated. That's why we travel with them, we do things with them, and so that won't be something that's like, oh my gosh, he took me to Vegas. Yeah, we did that. So you know, her expectations are gonna be that he treats her, you know, how her dad treated her and how this family is. So I think they'll be good with that.
I mean, I want my kids to be comfortable talking to me at all times. You know, if my daughter going through something, or she want to feel like, or even my sons have something with, as far as the person that they dealing with, I want them to feel comfortable talking to me. So that's where that's the relationship that I'm trying to establish with them, instead of just trying to be all like harsh on them, like, hey, you know, this is that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want them to like be more open, even though I mean I agree with them, or certain things that they talk about. I don't want to come off hard, so they can still continually communicate with me, you know, and then I can put my information, you know, spread my light on them, you know. So that's the main thing. I just wanted that open dialogue when it comes to them, you know.
And the thing about being a parent is, people would ask me like, have you talked to him about this? Have you talked to him about? And I remember, I mean, things come as they come.
Right.
I think different stages in life are when you discuss certain things. So like, I remember there was like a kid that was my son's age. He's 12, and they committed suicide because people were talking about them, and it was on social media and all this stuff. And that's when I actually had the discussion with him, like on our way to school. I was like, you know, that, you know, you can't come back from that. There's no coming back when you leave this world. So I told him, I said, imagine if me and daddy were to do something like that, you guys wouldn't have even been alive. You wouldn't have even been born. And so it gives them this perspective of like, this is, there's consequences.
While it's happening.
Exactly. While it's happening. So I think as time progresses, like they're going to learn like relationships and things like that as they come. And of course, before their friends tell them, because these days it's like they learning stuff on the street. So it's like sometimes you got to beat them to the punch before their friends do. But I think that they're going to be good as far as
my oldest son is he's pretty grounded. And, and he looks over the younger ones. So I think if I always tell him, I said, hey, if anything happens between me and your mom, you know, you got you in charge. So I expect you to know this. I expect you to know how to do this. I expect you know how to do that.
So you do have those type of conversations. That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I asked that question because, believe it or not, we all are doing the best that we can. But when I ask some people that question, especially in Divine Purpose, my nonprofit, and they're telling me that, oh, I'm having a problem with my teenager, and I'll ask them, well, do you guys talk? Or what do those conversations look like? Or do you just talk when something is wrong? And most of the time they'll say something like, well, they saw when me and their dad this, or if they're single, you know, they saw when this happened. And I'm thinking, but you see, this is a thing. So when the thing is happening, did you talk about it? And it's usually no, they're relying on them, not that this is what you guys did because they're not old enough yet. They're relying on that thing that they showed them 12 years ago or something, like you didn't put it together, and they missed that part. Like, I didn't make it very opening, leave the door open. Yeah, you have to talk to him because now the kid is becoming an adult. You kind of have to talk to him a little bit like an adult and see where their mind is. Let them talk more. And they're not ready. They're like, Asia, I'm not ready for that. You was ready when you pushed the baby out. You got to do it. You can't just let the world tell them, because to your point, younger ones are doing it. My sister came and see me a couple weeks ago, and one of my nephews is still in elementary school, his last year, and they was talking about what was the word he used? That the kid told him basically that his sister gave his friend a Woody, an erection. So my nephew was like, what does that mean? And we looking like, and this is through text. And then the little fast girl is in there. And she was talking a little grown. So to your point, you got to monitor those things because the world will teach your kid before you get a chance to. And that's so unfair.
And when you said, that the parents be like, I'm not ready, the kid already been exposed to it. So we can't wait till we ready. We gotta wait. We gotta do it when it's
when they brought it up, they'll let you know something's already in their ear. So be really grateful that they came to you to ask the question and to get more information versus their friends. Yeah, that's really a blessing when your kids come to you. With you guys, do you have any specific rules around like how to handle an argument? Do you cool down first? Do you have breaking points, code words? How do you navigate disagreements? I don't like the word argument. Disagreements.
Did we ever make a rule?
There's never no rule made. I think it was just part of the whole maturity process in a relationship. It used to get bad. We used to argue and break down and it used to get bad. But we've learned through the whole process as we got mature through the years. We've, especially when we got married. When we got married, that was it. I think that changed everything. As far as, because I think when you kind of single, I think when you're single and you're in a disagreement, I mean that's pretty much it. Like y'all single,
it's a different mentality.
I would say single, but boyfriend, girlfriend. But when you're married, it's like, all right, we have to talk through this. But if you have to have somebody that's willing to talk through it, and we came to that point of that, hey, if we're gonna go through something, we may not. In certain times may get quiet, but eventually we're gonna have to face up to it. We got to face it.
I think we both think about what we say in front of the kids. Like, I think if we were to ever have a disagreement in front of the kids, because we've had disagreements in front of the kids before, and I think for me, it only takes one time where my kid is crying because I had a disagreement, in front of them. And so you notice like, okay, this affects them. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes when you're heated, because I know for me, when I'm heated, I don't hold my tongue.
Yeah, I can't even see.
I'm going to hold my face. Yes. So I think that that part has been a work in progress. Like, and I think, because we don't really have a lot of disagreements, I think if there were to be that time where I'm really heated, there's times where I'm like, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And then there's other times where I'm like, calm down. Like, I ain't going to say that because they're right there, So I think we both have that little monitor, like in the back of our head, like our kids are there. So let me just hold off until.
When we used to argue and say things that would try to hurt one another.
Yeah.
And And once you get past that point, that you're not trying to say something that hurt that person, like intentionally hurt, like that hit that soul,
Right.
then you own up to you gaining in that relationship. But a lot of
How did y'all stop doing
arguments.
that? Who called who out? Because Aquarius do that and Virgos do it. Virgos are more tempered. Virgos are, oh girl, I commend you. I didn't know you was a Virgo. But again, the marriage, all of that goes away. But it does allow you to know who you're dealing with. An Aquarius once hit, you can't tell me how to fire back. That's how we are. But both is a 0 to 60. There is no middle. There isn't. So with love, okay, you grow from that. And then you stop doing crazy shit like, picking up something and shooting it across the room, because I'm good for that. Yeah, I'm real good. That's probably why my back is hurting. But from love, what was that thing, or usually you can remember that argument, that whatever it was that made you say, I know I ain't right. Why am I trying to hurt my man like this? Why am I trying to hurt my woman like this? Ooh, I ain't shit. I need to stop. What was that moment?
Did you have that moment? Like, where you like, I know I ain't right.
Did you have an aha moment? I ain't shit for this. I know I wasn't right. I went too far. I came too far not to finish.
I'm trying to think. I think honestly as a Virgo, because as a woman, I think that we can really hit a man hard. You know what I mean? With what we say. And with men, they don't let it go like we do. Like, it stays. Yep. And so I think that as a woman, I've learned that if I say this, I know I want to say it because I know it's going to really get him. Like, I know this can do it. But he
ready for that backlash, girl.
But he gonna hold it forever. And so I've learned that way, to just not say it, even though I know I can win this fight. I'm not gonna do it, because he's gonna hold on to that, and I'm never gonna be able to let that.
Aquarius is sensitive. We will Mortal Kombat your ass, but we are serious.
Yep. And so I don't think I hit that. I've probably said things that were offensive, but I don't think I've ever really shut it down, because I know that it would
probably be together if you did.
Yep.
Because that's what both of those signs can do. We know that.
I got some like, I could really throw something at you and hurt your feelings.
Man.
Because you can. It's the reality is, it's a double negative to be, sorry Virgos, a woman and a Virgo, because that's like a dragon. And then a woman and an Aquarius, because we're also fact finders. So it's not a damn thing you can say to me after I say what I'm going to say, because I did research first. I done Googled it. I tested this. I did all kind of shit, because I wanted to make sure when that came out my mouth, I wasn't at least going to have to say I'm wrong. I could say I'm sorry, but I wasn't wrong. I did my research. But that thing that'll make their whole soul leave their body, you know what it is. And that's the thing you never ever want to do, even if it's a word. Some people don't like to be called.
Dang.
It is.
And
because
you know what? Hey, one thing I gotta say about
right? Like, a man could hit a woman, and your hit, I always refer to it like that. Your hitting a woman is the same way we can talk to you. And that's why I tell women, and I have this channel, like, girl, stop playing. You know you did that. Because we know, Trina and I are being honest.
Hey.
Not a lot of women do that. They're lying. You went for that Mortal Kombat. It was the same as when he hit you.
Yeah.
You know what? Every woman got something in their back pocket that they can hit you with. I already know. They got, they did their research. They already know. They got something in their back pocket.
It could be about your dog, but it could be the way that we say it, because we love you and you love us. Love is different. Love, the reason why they say when you get married and when you have a baby, you're going to go through something, is because it opens up windows. It takes down walls. It opens up doors. Love like that, when you really love somebody, you just expose yourself. Everything is exposed. So you become one, because you know that I could feel my husband when he's not here. I could feel him when he's sick. I could feel those things, even with my sister's family, because you love them. So I know how to hurt you. You could have just said something in passing, and I picked it up, and I know you really gonna be mad if I tell you I ate your chicken. Like something, it could be. I'm telling you, it don't have to be nothing bad, but it's how we know how to say it. Yep. Just like you could actually just slap me, or you could choke me out.
Yep.
That's why I have this channel again. We cannot get to where we need to get to until some people start being honest. And I think it starts with women. Because we got too many secret compartments, and then we could turn it around and be like, you hurt me. You know you just Mortal Kombated him. Girl, you did that whole thing. So yes, you did. You don't think you deserved at least a push.
When women start being dishonest, that's when everything start crumbling. Because you know what I'm saying, we gotta have somebody honest out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, my fellas, we all be lying, but you know what I'm saying?
Somebody gotta tell the truth.
We all have our way of destruction that we can, like, I'm sure Stacey has his way that he knows that he can completely shut me down, and I know how I can shut him down.
Even if it's just to stop an argument.
Yep. So it's like and you learn that when you marry somebody, they're that thing, that trigger or whatever it is that can shut it down.
Nope.
So, and I choose not to use that because
you play it in your head.
Yeah, you play it in your head, but you say, you know what? I know him, and I'll never hear the end of it.
Or you'd be like, I would never want to hurt my husband like that. But when something happens, I played a lot of things in my head, kind of like so I was asked the other day, Asia, do you hurt people in your head? Yes, all the time. My favorite thing to do is slam somebody's head on the keyboard. But I do it in my head, and then people wondering, like, why is she chuckling? Because I just did it in my head. Like, now I don't have to do it.
Exactly.
You learn your things to make you a better person.
And that's real. And that's how people stay married, is doing it in your head, and then you get over it. You know what I mean? Because it's in that moment, of course you want to do it. You know what I mean? But you have to control. That's self-control. Like you have to know that you're in for the long run. So whatever you say is going to affect that long run, and you don't want that to be something else. Yep, you don't want that to be held over your head. So especially just for that moment,
Because a man, it is one thing that I said that my husband won't let me live down if our dog died. And it's the complete opposite of what I thought he was going to pick. But I've always done checkpoints since the beginning of marriage where I've asked very transparent questions. So I've asked, like, is there anything that you want to try that we haven't tried before? Because as a dating couple, there were things that I said no to because I wanted to save them for marriage. So I've done different checkpoints. Is there anything I'm doing that I think is absolutely amazing, from running turning on the shower before you get here, cooking dinner, this meal? Is it anything I'm doing like it's a tradition or our thing that you don't like anymore and you want me to replace it? Because what I also have found, because people don't communicate, is I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing everything that I can. But is it what they want? You're exhausting yourself doing what they don't even want. Did you ask them if they want that? Maybe you could channel the energy to what they want. And the other person has to be honest and say if it's not a go anymore. People don't do that.
Yeah, I know. And I remember because before we got married, we went to counseling. So we went to our church's marriage counseling, and we talked about like finances, things that are important, like finances, the love languages, just everything. And I think that put it into perspective too, especially the 5 love languages. Like I truly believe in that. I think just like how you said, like, I'm doing all of this, but is that what you want? Because somebody may not take it the way you may be giving it. You know what I mean? And so I think, we have different love languages. I'm more of a like, I'm a words of affirmation, um and my other one is quality time. And I actually think his is more like quality time and physical touch. So I think that once you learn that about somebody, you give them what they want versus how you would want it to you. So I get it when you say, what do you want me to change? Is this something you want? Because I'm doing what I would I want. Yeah. What's your love language? Is it physical touch?
Mine is physical touch and quality time, and those two things blew us out of the water. So we learned those two things when in our second year of marriage, and we needed some help because this was after the second back surgery that essentially made me start feeling like really different about myself. But in taking that love language test, we learned those two things, which is complete opposite of how I behave. So in all of my relationships, even in ours, I didn't really cuddle. I didn't hug a lot. I didn't want anybody to spend the night. And then the quality time thing, like I wasn't the type of person that would be like, oh, I just want to see you so bad, even if I did, because I felt like I didn't want to be needy. So everything that I did outside of my marriage was to protect myself. Um, Hugs mean a lot to me. Kissing means a lot to me. All of those intimate things were on the back burner for me. So when I got married, um, I met in the middle, but I was feeling neglected. I was feeling sad a lot because he worked so many hours and so far away too. So it impacted me starting to revert back and shut down as if I was going to lose something. They got to connect back, you guys. But it made me shut down. So in learning about the love language thing, um, when we got the results, we took the test together, and then the results came, and he got mine and I got his. And when we got those results, it was so eye-opening, not just for him about me and me about him. Ironically, his aligned with what he was, or how he was. But mine didn't. Mine were the complete opposite. So my love language test revealed my true self. And I actually learned a lot in marriage. I learned a lot about my true self. So the person that I've always wanted to be, if I was guarded and protected, is the person that I got to learn and become um, in marriage because I felt safe. Mark made me feel very, very safe. I didn't ever question that he loved me. I didn't ever question that he would be there. I didn't ever question um, our friendship. I didn't question anything with him. No, I didn't question anything. And he had a son when we first met. Um, and you know how you have that, some women have that thing in their head, oh, I don't want them going to the baby mama house. I don't want them doing this. I had that is the first relationship outside of my ex where I've ever had just complete trust. Like, didn't think about anything else. And that was freeing to me. And so when I decided that I was okay with thinking about being married, like I had control, I didn't really have control. But what I mean is, once I accepted, I think that's a better word. Once I accepted that this is my husband, this is the person that I want to be with forever. To their point, like Trina and Stacey said, I cannot live without this person. And I don't want him as a friend. I want this person right here every day. Um, I opened up and I started getting to become myself. And no matter what, I'm never going to turn back. But marriage, perfect. So, yeah, as I was saying, it opened up my true self. So very interesting. All of the things that I guess I have always wanted but not felt comfortable with because I don't like things to be taken away.
Mm-hmm.
I have an abandonment issue. And I knew that very young on. So if I don't give you this love, you can't take it from me.
Mm-hmm.
So in my love languages, I learned that touch and quality time. And so once I learned that, and then he knew and it exposed it, then there was a new challenge. Me starting to be comfortable enough to say, even to say, I don't want you to go to work today.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to lay here today. So love languages, I would encourage people that are dating to even go for that.
Mm-hmm.
Friendships, that's really important because you do, right? What is that saying? Um, I know you love me, you just don't love me like I need to be loved. How do
Mm-hmm.
they know?
Yeah.
How do you really know? We hold people very accountable for things that they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that's
that's it's like we try to expect it before even discussing it. And it's like,
you should know that. You see
yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah.
I wish you
So
were that.
when you said your love language was physical touch, but you didn't give that, how
In
did
relationships before. So like being touchy feely, public affection, holding hands, cuddling, like if you sitting on the couch watching TV together, I had this chair. I have this chair. I would sit in the chair. So there's no confusion. I'm not gonna sit on the couch. We don't need to, I'm gonna sit in the chair. The chair was my comfort zone.
But you liked physical touch, right?
Yes.
Interesting.
So in marriage, and even before he proposed, I already started doing those things with him. But we learned how important it was. Like my scores were really high in
Mhm.
those areas, and I didn't even think I was as emotionally needy as I am. I actually
Mhm.
am, and but I ignore it because it was like I'm not trusting that in just anybody's hands.
Yeah,
You know,
that
because you
makes sense.
while you're dating this person, you open up and tell them everything you need, you expose yourself. That don't work it out. You tell this person, "Mm,
Yeah.
I'll wait until I'm married, and then I'll do that with my husband. Well, not until I'm married. When I knew that was going to be my husband, I
Mhm.
started working on myself and picking myself apart.
Mhm. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, Stacey, before we go, Trina told us what her expectation going into marriage was, and then you got up and left us. But no, what was your expectation going into marriage?
You know, and I wasn't really expecting anything to be other than be who she was. You know, and that's what I mean really matters to me. Like I wouldn't if that was the case, we wouldn't have got married. You know, so I mean just the whole fact that she was who she was and stayed genuine to it, and and it worked out.
No, but what did you think it was going to be like? I know that you accepted her because the
Mhm.
man got to propose.
What do you
What
think marriage was gonna be like?
what did you think it was going to be like?
Um, it's hard to say because I you know I think that going to marriage, I think that we still had a positive being as far as attitude going into it, but I really didn't know. I was kind of expecting to see what
So
the
you were
journey.
dated day by day. What did he say earlier? He was taking things day by day.
Today.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just try to see how things go. You know, I
Okay.
really didn't have big expectations. I just try to see our growth because that's all I wanted was growth. You know, and that's what's been happening ever since. So.
I think when we came to that agreement of like
Mhm.
everything that happened in the past is the past and it was a clean slate, I think that was all that we needed to get married. And I honestly feel like, you know, like I feel like when it's your first go round, like when you're first getting married, you don't know what expectations to expect.
Right.
You're just like, I don't know what marriage is, so we gonna wing it. You know what I mean? So I think he went in a completely different because it was a first experience for him. And we had already laid it on the table. Like, the past is the past. We're not bringing it up in marriage. We starting clean. And for me, it was more like, I know what I'm getting into, and this is real. And
nurture this.
Yeah. So I think it worked that way. Like, there was no true, like, I expect this
I'm
and
not
this.
holding you to this. Let's just do this thing together.
Yep.
I think that works better.
Me too.
Because that's how I went into it. Like, I saw what it looked like on TV. I've seen what it looked like in real life. Foundationally, I know the bare minimum. I know the things I don't want to do. I did have a list of that. And what I mean by don't want to do, meaning I'm never going to yell at my husband in a room full of people. I'm never going to call him out his name. I'm never, like, there were certain things that I knew because it goes with just respect and foundationally. And you have to keep those things in your head, because if you're hot tempered or whatever, you got to make sure you stay balanced. You got to hold yourself accountable. So I had those type of things, but the rest, it was like, I know some things is going to happen because we literally have never argued. So I know something's going to happen, but I know that I still can't imagine that something being with anybody else than him.
You know, I know somebody that actually had a list of what they was expecting our relationship or the person they want. They had a whole list.
I did.
They didn't meet those expectations, then it wasn't going to match for them.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
They're living in a whole
and I'm not going to say whether it's a male, female, but the whole point of that is
a list?
Yes. So I told this person to throw that list away. I said, throw it away.
That's corrupting your life.
You're expecting, you expect that unrealistic goals, because not everybody's going to have that. You know, it's not, when marriage is not about that, because if you expecting that list and be perfect, then you're going to be single for the rest of the day of your life.
You don't want a person, because my own list could change. Like, okay, prime example. Both of us go-getters. We like to do these things, health hitters. So what if one of the things on your list was somebody that is completely athletic? They want to do these many trips a year, and I'm not going to settle on that. And then you the one to get hurt, and now you can't do it, and your own thing bites you in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Don't.
Lists change. They definitely change.
Day to day. Depends if you wrote it when you got PMS, if you wrote it when you're sleepy, if you wrote it in traffic. I'm just saying, don't have a list. I think morally, you should have the things that you want to check off. But again, we're still all human, and you have to forgive. I was asked one time, how many times would you forgive in a marriage? And I said, every time. It depends on what it is. It's only two things that would make me not forgive. Those things they're off the table. And
what are those two things?
A baby that didn't come out of my womb, and putting his hands on me.
Okay.
Because if protection was my problem going in, and I got to sleep with one eye closed, that's not going to work. And then the baby thing, I can't have a constant reminder of
infidelity. Yeah,
I can't, because I really firmly believe that a lot of the forgiveness part comes from you talk about it, you work through it, you each take your action items as far as what I'm going to do to make it better, and then you bury it. You can't relive it. You can't keep going through it and letting it resurface. Otherwise, you can't truly heal and forgive, because it's fresh. It's like an open wound. You have to bury it. And so with a kid, it's no way I would be like those people that, that baby can't come to my house, but the man can, or but the girl can. How? That's not fair. So those are my two things.
Yeah, that would probably be mine too.
I would just be a bastard.
Be cheating. Mine would be cheating in general, and then abuse. Yeah, that would be my two things. It wouldn't take a baby for me. I'd be like, all right,
So I call cheating. Texting, blinking, looking. Yeah. So just be clear. My my rim lips. Some
So
people find
you need that evidence. That baby evidence is.
there ain't no deleting no baby. And don't be having no baby come and knock on the door at 15. Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
Right.
But is there anything that you would want to tell your counterparts? Is there anything that you would want to tell other married couples, same age, about marriage that you think would be a gem for them to know about marriage, or a tip?
I would just say communication. And it's like what everyone says. I feel like it's so real. Like when you can communicate with someone efficiently and they can understand you and take your words for what they are, like that's where you develop like a true strong relationship. And because it's so hard to talk to somebody when they don't understand you, and
Or
when
when they're
you
twisting your words.
exactly. And I think that the right communication and someone who's willing to just listen, I think, because I'm a talker. And I remember back in the day, I wasn't a great listener. I was a talker. So I think when you're a good listener, like it puts you in a position to mend things. And I think that that's key. Like anything that makes you unhappy or you're uncomfortable with, or whatever the case, you should be able to communicate that without you shouldn't have to do it when you get mad. You shouldn't have to do it only when you feel uncomfortable. It should be when you're happy. You should be able to say,
Notice it.
yeah, because honestly, those are the best times to say it, because nobody's defensive. You know what I mean? And so I would say just communication, like, is really, really important for me, at least.
Right.
I'm sure his is probably different.
No, I think communication is big. I think trust is even bigger. Just for if you without trust, it's pretty much over. You know, and but a part of that is communication.
Yeah.
So they go hand in hand. So I mean, trust, communication, and
Support.
support. I mean, how to build trust is just really just to be 100,
Honest.
100, 100.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, own up to it. I mean, we all make mistakes, but if you make one, own up to it.
Yeah.
And be able to say, you know what, I made that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Not
I did it because you did this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And just being you, like, I
Yeah.
think that people lose themselves.
And that's who you fell in love with.
Yeah, and
I'm trying to be what you think I want you to be. I want you to be you. That's who I fell in love with.
Yep. I think that's probably the reason why I married Stacey, was because he took me for me and nothing else, nothing different. Like I was completely me when I met him. And I think because of my past relationships or relationship, I changed a lot of myself to be in that relationship. I think when I met him and he showed me that I could be me, that's what made me want to marry him, because I felt comfortable being me. And so I think when anybody makes you choose who, either make them happy or you be you, I mean, it should go together.
Right.
But I tell people all the time, don't let nobody tell you to choose between who you really are and your passion and them, because that relationship will never work. So
No, that's not fair at all. And what's interesting is when you guys got cut off, I was explaining the five the love languages, and I said what allowed me to start opening up before we got married was what told me that he was going to be my husband. And what told me that he was going to be my husband is I could be myself. I finally felt safe Like something just came over me where I felt really safe. Like that was my friend, that was my confidant, that was my protector. He was all the whatever I was talking to him like, and whatever I needed, that's what he was, and vice versa. So if I needed him to be the protector, then we was trying to go. If I needed him to just let me cry, he would let me cry. And I hadn't cried in years before him. But those are some of the things that let me know that this was my husband. Because whatever I needed to be, even when I needed to be the Asia where my head spun around, he would let me be that Asia because it wasn't at him. If that makes sense. Like it wasn't me talking to him bad. It was me coming home and being like, I need a minute. I can't believe work just happened like this. And he would be fine. Or that type of comfort, that's the person letting you be yourself. Because you can't just walk in. What if you have a bad day at work? You can't just walk in and turn it off. What if you need to line to the bathroom and jump straight in the shower? I need to, whatever it is that you need. It shouldn't be taken as, oh, you have you're a horrible person. You have an attitude. I'm a human who just got my ass whooped at work and I need a minute.
Right.
No, don't take it personal. Be personable for that person. It's not all about you. That's my advice. It's not all about you. It's not about how you grew up. It's not about what your family like. It's not about what none of that is, because those two things come together and then you two make what you want your family to be like. And you use some of those things, but you can change any one you want. And not one is right or wrong.
Right.
That would be my advice. So I am going to, do you have anything else to say before I toast us out?
Very good. Thank you for we enjoyed ourselves.
You are great at this.
Thank you. And I'm going to have you back on because I need to know what the hell you changed and why. Because I need to know. And why they wanted you to change. I got questions.
Oh yeah, that's a whole story.
Yeah. I'm going to have you on because guess what? It's a lot of women that go through that. It's a lot of people that go through that love, because everybody thinks something is thrown at you. It's not. I'm pretty sure it was, oh, I think you should do this. And then, oh, I think they build on it. And before you know it, you like, I don't even have on my clothes no more. This is clothes you like.
Right.
Yeah. But you do it because you want to make the other person happy.
Yeah.
So I am going to toast to communication, since that was the consistent. So I want to toast to communication and being open and being honest and being truthful, but not being hurtful with your words. But let's be clear. Some things are going to hurt that you hear, and they're going to hurt because it's the truth, and it may not be your intent, but your partner has to tell you so you can fix it and move it forward. Don't take things personal, and be compassionate with each other. So that is my toast for this evening. Thank you for everybody for joining, and you have a good night. And thank you guys so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Very nice.
Bye.
Bye.